What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris coming at you for another Dueling Bros video, and today I'm bringing you the final form of green steel for the Lorcana Inklands Championship. Before we get into it, if you like the video, hit that like button down below, and if you don't want to miss any more Dueling Brothers Lorcana content, hit that subscribe button. It would really help out a lot. But let's get into the deck breakdown. Okay, like last time, I'm going to do a quick overview of the changes I made, even from um, the last video I made, and then I'm going to go into the game plans and what to mulligan and whatnot. Obviously, I still have put in the Curse Merfolk. I like the Curse Merfolk. I actually think they did exactly what they need to do. They may feel kind of not that great drawing mid to late game, but if you have a starting Cursed Merfolk in your hand and you have a Robin Hood, but you don't have the big shifting Robin Hood, it is beautiful. It really fills that hole, and it helps get that discard package going early if you don't have a Bucky in hand. So that's just another thing that I really liked about it, was it gets that discard going. So if you do have a Bucky, it's just super great. I mean, you can really get the discard going. But if you don't have the Bucky, that's fine. He is there. The Cursed Merfolk are there to help get that going. That's why I think the Cursed Merfolk is great. And they quest for 2. It just puts pressure on your opponent that forces them to react. In a discard deck, that's what you want. You want them to play. You don't want them to hold on to cards in ink and then draw and stuff. You want them to play, empty their hand, so then you can rip their draw cards out of their hand easier. On top of that, we have Hypnotize in. Okay, Hypnotize is, I think, the cherry on top. I think that was the last thing this deck needed. I played against the mirrors with Prince John, and yesterday it was 50-50. Okay, it was 1-1, and that's because I think my assessment of Prince John is the same. I think he's a great card, but I think he's a win more situation type card. I think he just helps your discard engine win more when you can win without Prince John and have more variety of a game plan. I think there it's either route is like just as difficult to play, because I mean, if you're going into the Prince John route, yes, it's easier if you get the discard going because you also have draw, but it's harder overall because if you get grab your sorted, or or if be prepared, or they somehow do manage to get a be prepared out somehow, it's just kind of shit's at the fan. Yeah, and that's kind of what happened. Uh, it kind of, I would say, at least 50% of the games, I was able to grab your swords, shift with the Robin Hood on turn 3, and just take out the Prince John and the Bucky, or I just waited for it, and it's like they have to play them eventually, so they play the Prince John with the Bucky, and then I grab your sword. It's gonna happen. Yeah, that's just where I land on that. That specifically is in the mirror. I know Prince John isn't for the mirror; he's for other matchups, but I don't know. I just think with as much steel that's going around, I don't know. I just don't think that's the answer, and although I do think Hypnotize is very good, because I think that was the difference maker in the match that I did lose, because both matches you end up top decking very fast in the mirror. We both wind up without cards, and Hypnotize, I think, was like the big thing, because most people would end up just discarding Prince John to stop like a Cursed Merfolk, or if I sudden chilled them or whatever, like, because they were like, whatever, I'm just gonna grab your swords anyway. I'm not gonna get much use out of this. But the Hypnotize, like, that was really rude sometimes. Discarding a card and then them drawing a card. I was like, you know what? I think I really like that, and I did testing with it, as you'll see later in the video, and it's gonna stay in the deck. I think this is the final form of the deck, and I won't be changing it, at least not until after the Inkland Championships. I want you guys to be able to come back to this and just to see this video, and nothing was changed. Normally I keep tinkering with stuff, but I just want there to be some consistency from the video to the deck website, where normally I don't really give a shit, because I think you guys can go back and watch the videos, and I normally just I like to mess with my decks, but I'm going to refrain from my deck tweaking ways for the next week or so. So yeah, let's get into the game. Oh wait, hold up. What did I take out for Hypnotize? Okay, I took out one Benja because I felt like I was inking Benja way too often, and then I also felt like my opponents just knew I had a Benja in hand, so they either didn't play items or played items in a way where like a Hiram was already on the field. They would pre-play a Hiram. That way, they could play the item, then use the item, like if it was a fishbone, and then quest with Hiram, and then pop the item. So I never got a use out of Benja. So yeah, it became an issue where I was just holding Benja, and then it was messing up my whole curve. So I moved down Benja to 2, and if you don't want to play your fishbone quill, that's fine. I'll hypnotize you now. And so the other thing I felt like I was inking a lot was morph. So we took that down from 4 to 3, and big tank we went from 3 to 2 because I just didn't see as many scenarios where I needed to play big tank as I thought. But that's okay because it's fun. And if you feel like you see a bunch of aggro decks at your championship, then throw some more big tinks in there. But I mean, other than that, big tink is very helpful. Don't ever take her out all the way. But yeah, if yeah, that's that. But that's what I took out. So if you are like, nah, I don't like that, Chris, you can take out those 3 hypnotizes and put them back in. But I'm telling you, I really like the hypnotizes. Now with that being said, let's get into the game plans. Okay, so what are we looking for in our starting hand? If you want to go the plan Bucky, let's say you have a Bucky in hand, this is what you do. All right, you look for a Cursed Merfolk because Cursed Merfolk will help the discard pressure, or you look for the Robin Hood combo because you play Robin Hood, play Bucky, then shift for Robin Hood, they discard beautiful. Okay, now if you don't have that combo, Cursed Merfolk will also help you get the discard pressure early with the Bucky, okay? And then on top of that, you got the 2-drop Ursula that you can play after the Bucky. So maybe if you do draw the 1-drop the Robin Hood combo, then you can play the 1-drop Robin Hood and then the 2-drop Ursula on turn 3. I don't know, there's a lot of different things you can do. Or you could play Hypnotize that is now in the deck to continue to guarantee the turn 3 discard, okay? But really one of my favorite plays, though, is to play the 3-drop Ursula on turn 3 and then Sing Sudden Chill on turn 4 and play Jafar. That's such a deadly play. It's one of my favorites. Um, but the 2-drop Ursula, you look at their hand, and you get to rip a song. That's just really good. The Ursula sings songs twice, so you can discard. You can make them discard 2 cards with Sudden Chill, or you can do 2 damage to 2 different characters, or 4 damage to 1 character and draw 2 cards with Storm. And then, of course, like we were talking about, Jafar is just really, really good, and he can sing Zeus and whatnot. So we really love Jafar. But yeah, and then obviously you want to keep Bucky. If you're doing the plan Bucky, if you find a Bucky, keep a Bucky. But yeah, so that's pretty much this mulligan right here. If you find a Bucky, then these are the tools that you want to look for, to help get your success around Bucky, because you'll draw into other stuff. I mean, there's I think 19. I think because I took Big Tank down 1, I think there's 19 Floodborns. So that's still a lot of discard because I put in 3 Hypnotizes. So although I took away 1 Floodborn discard card, I put in 3 Hypnotizes. So overall, that it's a +2 on discard cards. And then on top of that, all 3 cards of Hypnotize let you draw. So it helps a little bit with the draw problem. That this deck has. Sorry, I think I mumbled that a little bit the first time I tried to get it out. But yeah, so this is Plan Bucky. Let's move on to Plan Ursula. Okay, so playing Ursula. So playing Ursula doesn't necessarily always mean playing Ursula on curve. Sometimes playing Ursula on turn 4 or turn 5 is just fine. Typically, you want to play her on like turn 4 because once you hit turn 5, and you really want to start playing like the Beasts and Robin Hoods outright, or like your Helga. But for we're talking about hands, looking at mulligans. You want to keep the Robin Hood combo. You want to keep a Curse to Merfolk. Because say you do plan on playing an Ursula on turn 4, you can play Curse to Merfolk on turn 1, Morph turn 2, Beast turn 3, help get you that draw, play Ursula on turn 3, or on turn 4, and then Singlet Storm Rage uh, on turn 5, get another 2 cards, and then potentially, you just ran from there. So it's, you just really need to do things like that. And now, you have Hypnotize that you can play on turn 3 if you want to get the discard going. You got the 2-drop Ursula if you're like, I'm gonna get the discard going. You can play 3-drop Ursula on turn 3, play Hypnotize on turn 4, and then also Sing Sudden Chill. That's also pretty nasty if you were like, play Curse to Merfolk, the 2-drop Ursula, the 3-drop Ursula, then play Hypnotize, and then sing Sudden Chill. That's just, ugh, that's a nasty sequence of events, okay? That's a lot of discard coming your opponent's way. And these are the components you're going to want to look for if you want to build your plan around Ursula and you don't have a Bucky in hand, because I'm always going to tell you Bucky is plan A, and then we can do this plan B. Now let's move on to plan Aggro. Surprise, Aggro hasn't changed at all. Okay, the Aggro game plan is exactly the same from the last deep dive, but we're gonna go over it, right? You look for your shifting Robin Hoods. You look for the morph onto Tinkerbell or onto Beast. You get the 2-drop Ursula to stop them from singing like a Friends or anything like that. You got your Far to take out any of those little pesky critters, and then you draw. And then you have you grab your swords and you let Storm Rage on for your damage onto your opponents. So it's pretty. This one is pretty straightforward. I think these are the cards you look for, and yeah, I mean because the Beast will help you draw into more damaging cards. Look for that grab your swords, and then the Robin Hood will help you gain lore while taking out the aggro pieces. The morph, because if they take out the Robin Hood, then you can play the morph, and then you can still shift for the big Robin Hood on turn 3. That's like worst case scenario type deal. Also morph really really big on turn 3, and then you can do the big tink on turn 4. So it's just a lot of different things you can do. The reason why I didn't put Cursed Merfolk on here is because you're not really looking to get into a questing match with aggro. They're going to win. You want to set up to control the board while they're emptying their hand, and then say like discard. Discard is plan B in this scenario because they're gonna empty their hand faster than you can discard. So you want to take control of the field, and then if you happen to get them to discard while they have cards in hand, that's fine. But the first thing you do is take control of the field and the lore. Okay, you don't want to get them out of hand because they're gonna get to like a good aggro player is probably gonna get to 10 no matter what, faster than you can really do much about, unless you just happen to get the god draw with Robin Hood, what you call it, the big Robin Hood shifter, and then you top deck a grab your swords. Because guess what? If you keep a grab your swords in hand, although I'm telling you right here, you want to look for it. You just got to be careful. If you're going against like a lemon, if you're going against amber or green, then it's going to get ripped out of your hand from either the Ursula or Bare Necessities. So, um, these are the cards to look for, but also beware. Uh, they could also get ripped out of your hand. So just beware. Maybe, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't tell you there. It's oftentimes I won't keep songs, but sometimes I do keep songs. If like like I'm game 3 type scenario, and I'm going first, or it just depends whether you're going first or going second sometimes. But yeah, it just really read your personal scenario of whether you want to keep your songs and what colors you're going against, because that's the worst case scenario is you have a grab your swords in hand and they rip it out of your hand before you can play it. So that's that. Let's move on to the game closers. Game closers haven't changed from last time either. The 6-drop Robin Hood quest for 4 avoids that Madame Medusa by having 4 attack, 5 health, so they have to Zeus him. Yet another card that they have to Zeus. You gotta have 4 Zeuses. I mean, where you gonna you gotta Zeus every beast. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. We have so many cards that have to be Zeused. It's ridiculous. But he's really meant to put the pressure on the control players after you've made them discard, or really on anybody after you've made them discard. But the original idea was against like control players like Ruby, Purple, and Blue, Red, and he is phenomenal at doing that job. And yeah, he's also there for ink sometimes if you need him. So he may not be your savior every single game, but I promise you, he will save your butt some games, and sometimes he will just be the nitrous on your engine when if you're already ahead. He is very, very, very good. And then we have the Big Cindy. Big Cindy, she's a big old girl. She does her thing, and we love her for it. Okay, she has that resist 2, and she shift for 5 on top of a morph. Uh, she is the reason why I didn't really want to go down on morph, but it's fine. I think at the end of the day, it's fine with how much I'm inking a morph. I think it's okay. Not oftentimes do they actually wind up in the hand at the same time in a way where it's like the most optimal thing for me to do is sequence that. But she's really good against steel because of that resist 2, and she quests for 3. So when you sing some songs, you can take out some attacking characters. So she's just all around good as well as a game closer. She's just a big girl that will stay there unless your opponent puts a lot of effort into it. And then we got Helga Sinclair. She can also avoid Madame Medusa. All the big 3 can avoid Madame Medusa. They have to move up to their Maleficence or put back Lady Tremaine in their decks if they want to take out these cards. And Helga, just like I mentioned earlier, she turns your actions into another another Zeus. I don't know why I almost said grab your sword. She turns all your actions essentially into a Zeus. Like, she turns Let's Storm Ray John into a Zeus with her extra 3 damage. Or grab your swords on one of the opposing characters, turns into a Zeus. So that's why I went down from 4 Zeus to 3 Zeus, is because of how useful the Helgas have been, and me just feeling like I've been drawing Zeus's way too often. So these are the big 3. These will help you close out games, and use these at their maximum efficiency, and your opponent will be very, very sad. Finally, we have the flex options, okay? The final portion of the game plan, okay? The flex options are Strength of the Raging Fire, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, Prince John, Flynn Rider, and the small one, and then Flynn Rider, the big guy with the quest for 4, who is evasive. So all of these cards could be teched in, and I think you would do just fine. It comes down to personal preference. Prince John, I just think you put all your eggs in one basket. Strength of a Raging Fire, I just felt like I had too many damaging spells. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, I think I'm discarding just fine with the amount of sequencing that I have right now, and I don't think I need a win more card. It's essentially the reason why I wouldn't put Prince John in, except Prince John helps draw off your discards, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo would help you discard more. So there's that. And then the Flynn Rider combo, it's a combo, and it's more cards you have to figure out. So I think at minimum you'd be able to do 4 cards, 2 of the big ones, 2 of the little ones. Not gonna draw them that consistently. The big ones uninkable. If they have cards in their hand, then he does nothing quest wise. Mally's Fishhook can turn things evasive, so he's not really safe. So I think just all around, he's probably not the best option, but he does speed the deck up substantially if you get the discard going. So, it's preference. I think it's preference. It can pop off definitely still. But yeah, so that's the flex options. Those are the game plans. And yeah, I think it's time to get into the gameplay, and I hope you guys enjoyed this explanation. And we're going to get into the other top 4 decks of the meta coming soon. Alright, going against Purple Steel. And we're going first. Bro. I always have the worst hands on Pixelborn. We only need one sudden shield, but the second one's ink, so whatever. The Zeus. We're going first, so I'll really need. I don't really care about that storm unless I have something to sing it with. All right. I'll ink the sudden chill, and we'll play the Robin Hood. Whew. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Normally on Pixelborn, I get an even swap on inkables. It feels on inkables. It feels like it's just. It really doesn't feel like true random to me, but oh well. Definitely gonna save this guy. So I guess we'll take the long-term discard over the short-term discard, and we'll ink the sudden chill to play the Bucky. And hopefully we'll draw an inkable card so that I can play this Ursula next turn, and then everything will be okay. I just don't want to. I don't want to have to ink this and then like not play something. Because I can almost, assuredly bet that they have a Friends on the Other Side in their hand. And if they didn't, they probably do now. Oh. Man. That is a bummer. That is a bummer. I tell you what, in person I feel like the Robin Hood combo is just always in my hand. But on Pixelborn, just nope, there's an inkable card. Another one. She's a good card. Helga. I just feel like I draw so many inkables on Pixelborn. It's like they magnetize to my hand. They just speak how I feel. Arthur. Okay. So it's like an aggro type of deck. Okay, so I'll ink the Jafar so we can play the Jafar. And discard will be coming their way. Hercules. Okay, interesting. This is just a whole different type of deck that I've never seen. They're thinking. I imagine, they're at 3, so I'd imagine they ink, quest with both of these, bounce that, and then bounce the Olaf, bounce the Arthur, or bounce the Olaf with the Arthur, and then probably play the Fox, right? Or the Goat? Or the Rabbit? Right? That's what I would assume. That's what I would assume. There is a Madam Mim. And replay the Olaf. Right. Okie dokie. So I guess I'll just ink that Ursula because I don't want to ink any of these. I'll play a beast. A discard will have to occur. Bye-bye Maleficent. And because I don't even really care if Jafar gets taken out or not, I'll pass after I quest. Robin Hood I care about because the shift Robin Hood is just too good. I feel like my tone of voice kind of sounded like I was going to say something else, but I didn't have anything to say on that. Robin Hood is just good. There's the fox. There's the fox. Trade the fox for Jafar. That's A-okay in my book. Now you still got your Arthur too. Now here's the question. What do I want to do here? I guess I just ink this. Right? No. I don't know. I think it might be better to... I mean, either way, they only have one card in hand, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll just ink it. Doesn't matter. I'm overthinking it. I'll just play another beast. It's only 6-1. I'm gonna start getting antsy whenever it starts getting like 12 and 13. That's when you really start imagining like what they're doing and stuff. Okay. So we got 2 beasts we're gonna draw off of. We got the Ursula going. Okay. So what do we want to do here? Helga would be great, I guess. If we sang swords. Yeah. Alright, we'll shift for Robin Hood. And we'll play this Ursula. And then we'll sing swords. And then if they quest with Smee, he'll be gone. The Pinocchio. Alright, and then I'll draw off my Robin Hood. It still ends the exact way you wanted it, with 2 targets with the Ursula for Let the Storm Rage On. So it is still working in our favor. Draw 3 cards. Cinderella, Bucky, Robin Hood. Okay. We don't really need to play another Bucky. They have no cards in hand, so we'll ink that Bucky. And we'll sing Storm there. And then we'll sing Storm another time there. And we'll play Cinderella. And then I'll finally begin questing with my beasts now that we are safe and secure. And pass. We are 2 ink ahead and they have to play. Okay. Let's see. We'll probably end up playing that Robin Hood, inking that Benja, playing that beast, and just questing with everybody and pass. Well, you know, having all of our beasts was lucky down the line. Boom! Alright, and the surrender. I would have surrendered too. And having no cards in hand versus somebody who has a bunch of cards in hand and draw cards on the field and has board presence. We were 3 ink up. You know, we really were able to create a gap between what we could play and our opponent could play the more they discarded. So let's see if we can produce those results in game 2. Alright, purple steel going second. Don't need Zeus or Cinderella or Benja. Benja's good ink, but much better to have gotten our boy Bucky. So I do like the Cursed Merfolk. We're going to end up playing them later, because we're going to end up playing the Robin Hood Bucky curve combination. Now, I mean, this is assuming we draw Inkables, of course. We have a pretty solid hand to just take over the game, I think. You play the Robin Hood, the Bucky, you shift for the Robin Hood, and then, you know, you just go from there. Okay, so we drew an Inkable. We don't even have a song to potentially sing, so we'll put that there, and we'll play our Robin Hood, and we'll pass. So our opponent could end up having like a Zeus or like a Storm or something before us, so that would be pretty devastating. Strength of the Raging Fire. Luckily, they don't have Bucky, and we have Bucky. Interesting. And the Baboon. Okay. So they don't want us, they really don't want us to be doing anything with that. Okay, so now that won't be shifting anymore. We'll go ahead and we'll play both of those Cursed Merfolks. And hopefully we'll draw an Inkable card so we can play Hypnotize, to just really put our opponent at a not very good position. Even if they do get to destroy our Merfolk with a Robin Hood, gain 2 lore, you know, they'll be discarding cards. I guess people just keep trying Baboon because it's inkable, but I don't know. Another Baboon. I unfortunately don't think that the Baboons will save you in the end here, my good sir. I could be wrong though. So let's play this Hypnotize. Next turn we'll play the Bucky and the Ursula. Get rid of the Maleficent. Alright, yeah, uninkable. We quest for 2, and we'll pass. So I'm doing a lot of highlighting here. At least do your actions first. I wonder what you have in hand. You must have some uninkables in hand to do that. Okay. You will bounce that min back to your hand. Or bound the Robin Hood. To replay it. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So because we drew an uninkable, it is what it is. We're gonna have to ink that. And normally, I wouldn't play the Bucky in hopes that we could get that. But because if Bucky was any other inkable card, probably would have not played it, even if I was able to play it right now, and save it for ink for the Robin Hood as a just in case. But it is what it is. Alright, now our opponent just doesn't seem to be drawing that shift Robin Hood. What does the fox say? Okay. So, really have no choice other than to ink the Cinderella so that we can play the Robin Hood so that they hit to discard that Madame Mim. And then now we quest. And so as you can see, we're up 1 ink. And now they are really on the ink or play type scenario. They finally get it. And luckily we have Zeus here. That was definitely the right move, sir. Correct. Alright, now you don't have anything to be hypnotized. So, that unfortunately won't work for us. But what will is attacking into the Robin Hood and then Zeusing your Robin Hood so that you can't draw. And then hitting the Madame Mim. So, you know, I could have done the Madame Mim to force the Robin Hood to attack into my Robin Hood. But, I guess I don't really think it mattered too much in that scenario. Now I'll get to draw. And get Jafar. Yeah, I probably should have just inked Hypnotized last turn. That was kind of silly of me. It's okay. It'll work out. My whole game plan with this deck is, you know, to put your opponent in a position where they quit inking before you. And so, and then, or we get into the same scenario. Top decking in this deck will win in the top deck battle if it starts early. But it has enough draw to sustain itself. Okay. Alright. And the quest with the Benja. Not mad at it. We'll attack the Benja. And draw 1 card. Get Ursula. You need to make sure we hit 7. We could draw Storm at any time. So I guess we'll play these 2 cards. Just to create some board presence and some things to quest with. They still have yet to ink in many turns. So, you know, like if you're in this position, you know, you just want to keep inking and controlling the board. And, yeah. And then that way, eventually, you will be able to just overtake them. Okay, and so now, we'll do this here. And, yeah, I mean, Ursula isn't going... The 2-drop Ursula isn't really going to do anything. So we'll quest with the Ursula to bait something like a Captain Hook or the Robin Hood to attack that Ursula. And then we can get this Jafar to attack. Now, I'm realizing as I'm doing all these actions that highlighting all these cards. My opponent can see the highlights too, so it is what it is. Now that they finally have a spell book, we have to start putting a little bit more quest pressure than what we have been doing. That was a fair move. Now, one of the reasons why we kept inking to 7 is because now we can play anything we top deck. Okay, but first off, the first rule of top decking: if you can draw, you do your draw sequence first, and then you draw. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? So we can't play both. Probably just keep the Bucky in hand. Maybe play it again next. Ursula can't be taken out, and we'll do the Bucky. So if you want to take out my Bucky, you can do that. I'll play another Bucky. So with purple, you kind of want to get to like 7, 8, because that's when you can start playing your Elsas and whatnot. This may be more of an aggro version, so he could be perfectly fine doing what he's doing. Alright, 11. And because you haven't inked in such a long time, you cannot do your spellbook. Okay. So I'll play a Ursula and a Bucky, and I'll quest with the Ursula and the Tinkerbell, and I'll leave the Jafar up, because the Jafar would be the obvious option to stop me from drawing off the Jafar. So I want you to attack into one of those things and then allow me to draw off the Jafar. Finally get your friends on the other side. Because you have such low ink, you had to sing it with your Merlin so that you could also play. So just note the position that we put our opponent in with having to do that, because of them making the decision not to ink continuously over and over again. Okay. Inking that, alright. Must have something in hand that's a 5 cost. Hope I don't draw a Floodborn. That's the risk you take with leaving something in your hand. Oh, it's a Baboom, okay. That's fair. Alright, you go up to 13. Okay, so now I'll just play my Robin Hood. And I think we're pretty much primed up for game. And quest here. And we quest a 15. And you'll go. Well played, indeed. Yeah. And the Rafiki. And I'll just Westeroo for game, and we'll move on to the next game. Alright, going against Blue Red, and we are going second. Ooh. This one could get dicey. Need to play Hypnotize over Ursula. Beast is good. We don't have the little Robin Hood. So I feel like I gotta get rid of you. Look for a Bucky. We really need a Bucky. No Bucky. so we have a 1-drop to play Curse Merfolk. Huh? Magic Golden Flower. That doesn't seem very magical to me. We'll play the Cursed Merfolk and pass. Well, at least they're playing items, so I brought down Benja, to 2 because blue-red just kept popping their items before I could even get Benja out there to play. I'm like, unless they had played Fishbone on curve and I had Benja on curve, I just really wasn't getting that much use out of Benja. So I was just like, okay, I'll do something different. Man. Whatever. I gotta ink it. Oh, and I forgot to. I was so mad about drawing an uninkable, I forgot to quest. Oh well, it happens. This game is just like Pixelborn. It's just not very. I don't know. Just feels weird. I just feel like I draw uninkable after uninkable, or like everything's. I don't know. Not a fan of how often you get uninkables. Okay. So ink that Robin Hood to play a Hypnotize. Big Cogsworth is like shift 3, right? So you could have shifted for him if you had him. Which tells me you didn't have him. You had to get rid of your Lucky Dime. I'll quest with the Cursed Merfolk like I should have did last turn. Oh, you didn't even ink last turn. You used 1 jump ahead for your ink. So, you do not have a favorable match. Okay, Mickey Mouse. This is just, this isn't really, not to be disrespectful or anything, this isn't one of the more competitive blue-red decks. So, I just really feel like Big Cogsworth would have came out already. So, I'm just going to play the Jafar and quest and pass. And hopefully I don't have to ink this Ursula. Hopefully I can draw something that I can ink. Because I really like to keep that Ursula for like I guess for next turn. If he inks, he's gonna be at 6. I gotta rip that Be Prepared away. Gotta get it out. Cursed Merfolk is putting in work here, though. Cursed Merfolk is honestly good in this matchup. I mean, this isn't like one of the more competitive versions, I feel like, unless I'm just missing something. But, typically you can get a good 2 or 3 quests out of a Cursed Merfolk. Interesting. I probably would have ended up playing the Maui That is just me though. Okay. I don't want you to do any shift shenanigans. You know, you can draw them at any time. So let me draw off of my Jafar. Okay, I got a morph. So we're beautiful. We're good to go. I still got ink though. So we're not at. Oh, crap. Yeah, I'll ink the morph. Ink the morph. We gotta ink the morph. Play Ursula. What do you got in your hand? It is a Lady Tremaine. Okay. I don't care about Lady Tremaine all that much. Alright, and I'll play the Cursed Merfolk and I'll pass. So, you know, we'll probably end up Zeusing the Lady Tremaine with the Jafar. I'll probably end up playing Helga next. Oh no. Playing Beast to help get the draw back up is nice. Bye, Ursula. Okay. I guess that cemented what I'm gonna do. Well, we're gonna sing this here. And luckily they cannot draw, be prepared, and play it at the same time. We'll play one beast in one beast only, and we'll pass. And we'll start trying to rejuvenate our hand while they're top decking. And we are in an instance. Oh man. Well, now be prepared can be played on us. Always ink with the big tank, and I'll just play Helga so I can put more pressure out there, and I'll quest with the Cursed Merfolk, and because there's kind of a time clock, right? We're gonna quest with the Beast. Against most other matchups, I would be just super cautious, not questing with the Beast, but because of where we are in the game, how far I'm ahead, I really want to secure the win. You have to get to like 17, 18 lore before you can really say you can confidently secure a win against blue-red. Okay, so now I'll take out the Mickey for the Jafar, and especially because now our opponent is at a ink, you know, they could do be prepared at any time. Play the Robin Hood. I don't have a song to sing, so I'll ink the Ursula. Now we're at 7. Anything is possible. And then we'll quest. And then our opponent has to top deck a Be Prepared or this game. Because they can't play Maleficent. They could have got one from there. My luck, I would imagine they did get it from there. There's a Gaston. Okay, so they had to play like a Madam. They needed to be prepared because they had to take out both of these fatigued characters. Otherwise, I'm gonna win. And this is the reason why. One of the reasons why I played the Robin Hood is because why I played this Robin Hood, because you can't take his lore away by having cards in hand. And the shiftable Robin Hood is just, not Robin Hood, the shiftable Flynn Rider, I just don't think it is as good. I think people can get around him. So we'll quest for 4 there, and 2 there, and move on. Oh, okay, going against red, purple. Going first. Alright, and we got a Merfolk. And we got a Ursula. We got Morph and a Beast. Oh man. We'll give it We'll keep. We'll do a solid keep. Now, we'll get rid of the one Robin Hood. We got another morph. Alright, not mad at it. We'll ink one morph to play the Cursed Merfolk. And right here, I'm looking for the morph into beast combo. That's what I'm trying to do on turn 3, is play beast. So, it might play Spellbook, but I don't think it'll really matter too much for us. We'll ink the morph, and I'll quest with the Merfolk. Interesting that they attack into the Merfolk without playing anything. Very interesting. So I can shift for the beast now without Bucky. And just saying Storm, draw 1, and then play Bucky next turn. And get the draw going for consistent potential later late game. And stop them from a potential bounce next turn. I think that's what we'll do. We'll have to ink one of the Ursulas. It is what it is. Sometimes you just, you draw. That's what you draw. And get there. And if I'm not mistaken, they shouldn't have a rush that doesn't require a bounce that they could play. Alright, we draw another beast. So we're in prime category to fill up our hand again. Ah. That Minnie Mouse. I see. We'll ink our other Benja. It's not really something I wanted to do, but it is what it is. We'll play Bucky, and then we'll play Ursula, so we can see what they have in their hand. Okay, so they have a Madame Mim, a Merlin, a Maleficent, and a Yzma. Okay, so we're quite a few turns away from the Yzma. I'll probably see it get inked if I'm being honest. And then I'll just pass on there. Alright, turn 3. I'm going to have quite a lot of draws before then. Alright, the Jafar and the Sudden Chill. Okay, that's actually kind of beautiful. Because I don't want to ink the Beast. The Beast is going to be way too good. But you can't miss an ink against... See, it's just such a hard decision. Such a hard decision. Yeah, so you kept your... So you have your Yzma still. Okay, yeah. I mean, normally, but those are just 2 discard cards. I don't know. I just really felt like playing them both was the best play. Normally, not missing an ink is by far the best play. But I really felt like, forcing them to discard 2 more cards was very, very crucial at that moment. Okay. So we'll ink this Ursula. Play Beast. We'll attack into your Madame Mim to draw Cinderella. Okay. And then we'll sing Sudden Chill. What are you going to get rid of? The Gizmo. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. I figured that was going to happen, which is why I was like, okay, we can at least play swords safely. No big deal. Merfolk. Robin Hood. Ursula. Okay. I'll do the Ursula here. Robin Hood. Merfolk. Do I want to risk losing some draw just so I could sing swords to get rid of your Minnie Mouse? No, that doesn't sound something I really care about. Okay. They're drawing all their rabbits. Must mean that they also have like be prepared in hand. Luckily they're 2 inks away from it. They must have uninkables in hand, otherwise they would be inking. Ah. And there is the other Bucky. Okay. And so I'll play Bucky now. And I'll sing swords. And I'll just sing swords, because whatever. Draw your 2 cards. And then you can't deal with everything, so now I will quest. And your go. So luckily a Be Prepared can't come out immediately. And we'll quest for 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, so we'll go up to 15. Because Be Prepared could come out at any time. I'm not going to really leave anything sideways anymore. Okay. So again, the Be Prepared can come out at any time. So I'll just play that. Now I'll ink this Robin Hood. I would play Big Cindy, but you know, almost positive that a Be Prepared is coming next turn. And it didn't come. That's crazy. Alright. Okay, so now I'll play Big Cindy. Because they didn't even ink. So and then now I need to quest. So I'll quest. I'll quest to 18 and pass. And so it's like, I guess now they had to have top deck to Be Prepared or they lose. You know, it's just what you know, it's still very risky going against this deck, but you have to put them in the position of and they didn't draw the Be Prepared. So that's pretty much how that goes. You make them discard, have them get trouble to ink, and then you begin to quest, and you quest like a madman before they get to their inking and playing Be Prepared and whatnot. And that's pretty much how it goes. I could have played that Cinderella earlier, but I was just anticipating an ink plus Be Prepared. So I was just trying to hold back a little bit, but you're just gonna have to gauge your opponent, like what's going on there, like that particular scenario. No Be Prepareds were gone, so I was really trying to be cautious about it. But if you've made some Be Prepareds go away, or if you just played like a 2-drop Ursula, and that there's no Be Prepareds at hand, you can play a little bit more aggressive with that. But yeah, um, that's just some green steel gameplay. That is where I land on green steel with 3 hypnotizes in. I think it goes a lot better now with 3 hypnotizes in, because it just adds uh, that extra discard plus draw factor on turn 3 specifically. So if you don't have the shift Robin Hood, or say you have Ursula but you don't have any songs to go with Ursula, so it's maybe not optimal to play her, you can play this hypnotize, and you can draw and discard. Of course, if they still have a hand, but normally on turn 3 they should have a hand. It is a fun deck to play, hard deck to play, and but yeah, it's fun. So give it a shot, and yeah, I'll see you next time.